Most men spend their whole life being realistic. They die that way too. Fear is not what most men think it is. It doesn't show up as shaking hands or a racing heart. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up as practicality, as logic, as now isn't the right time, and I need to be smarter about this. It sounds exactly like your own voice. It uses your own language, and it argues very, very well. That's what makes it so dangerous. You can't fight something you can't see. Think about every time you said, "I'm being realistic," the business you didn't start, the conversation you never had, the version of yourself you decided was too much, too ambitious, too different, too far from who you'd already settled for being. You called that wisdom. You called it maturity. You called it playing it smart. Fear called it a victory. And here's how it spreads. Once you let fear make one decision for you, the next one is easier, and the next, until the habit of shrinking becomes so normal, you don't even notice you're doing it anymore. You stop applying for things you're not guaranteed to get. You stop saying how you really feel. You stop trying in areas where failure would hurt. Your whole life gets smaller, and you learn to call it stability. Here's what that costs over a lifetime. Not just the missed opportunities, not just the career that could have been, or the life you almost built. It costs you the relationship with yourself. The self-respect that only comes from doing the hard thing, from taking the risk, from failing and standing back up anyway. Men who never truly risk walk through life with a hollowness they can't explain and can't get rid of. They feel it at night, when everything is quiet, when there's nothing left to distract them from the life they chose out of fear. Most men never name it. They live the whole life avoiding the word. But fear is the word. Fear of failure. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of wanting something badly and not getting it. Fear of truly trying. Because truly trying means you can't pretend anymore that you would have made it if you just tried. The pretending is the protection, and the protection is the prison. Nobody tells you the truth about courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving while the fear is still loud. Doing the thing while your stomach turns. Taking the step while the voice in your head lists every reason not to. The men who built something real, they were afraid. Every single one of them. They moved anyway. Not because they had something you don't, but because they refused to let fear be the final word. So ask yourself honestly, what decision have you been calling realistic? That's actually just fear. What have you been waiting to feel ready for, knowing that the feeling of ready never comes? What version of you died quietly because you couldn't tolerate the discomfort of becoming him? Sit with that. Don't look away from it, because that question is the most important one you'll face. That version of you is not gone. He's waiting. On the other side of every fear you've been dressing up as logic. On the other side of every excuse that sounded reasonable. On the other side of the life you settled for. Name it. See it for what it is. And then move anyway. Because the only thing worse than being afraid is letting fear win without a fight. If this hit you, share it with one man who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Unshaken Mind. New video every week. The men who find this channel are not here by accident.